Grew up in inner city Cleveland, Ohio, 105 St. Clair. Just growing up, I thought that having a single mother, having 9 kids, brothers and sisters, I thought that was the life that, that everyone lived.
I grew up in Bridgeport, Connecticut. I ended up in foster care because my mother had a drug addiction. The hardest abuse was the emotional abuse. So constantly being told that, no, because you're African American, this is as far as you go.
I was born in Kingston, Jamaica. We immigrated to America, New York City, when I was 6. Came with my father, my 2 sisters. When we made the transition up here, my dad basically had to start over from scratch. And so sometimes it didn't always work out where both of us could eat every night of the week.
I grew up in University Park, Illinois. It's a pretty small suburb of Chicago. It's primarily a low-income community, I would say. My parents really instilled in me the value of education, and so I think that kind of superseded anything that I saw in my home community or the poor education system that I was in.
I'm a student ambassador. Basically what my job is to do on campus is to make sure that, if they need help finding the class on the computer, I'm that guy to help them. This is the actual class. Out of all my family members, I will be the first one to actually hopefully attain a bachelor's degree. Just growing up, things were, as I thought, was cool. I haven't been exposed to the world yet. As I got older and as I got into high school, that's when I realized, it's a crazy world out here. Life is rough. A guy that was actually in my class, Mikey actually, he got shot. And I'm thinking man, we just left school. Just seeing that image of people's names and stuff on that wall saying RIP, I know those people. And what if I would have took that same direction as them? My name would be on that wall. You still can do it. All you gotta do is have work study, or you can. Well, that was actually one of my biggest fears. Coming into college with a bunch of people that I knew and knew that we all would not make it out. Because this is like a sport. You gotta get serious, you gotta be well conditioned, you gotta be fresh on everything.
So now you know what the just world hypothesis is, it results in what? Blaming the victim?
I promise you, I didn't learn anything in high school. I really learned majority of things that I learned from Freedom School. Freedom School is a literacy program, encourage you to love to read. I didn't realize the program really affected me till graduation. I'm going from a 002 on my reading score to actually graduating salutatorian of my senior class. Just having those male role models, encouraging me, telling me that, you can make it. Exposing me to the world, taking me on trips. A man named Tor Smith. He was actually the first guy to ever give me a hug.
When I got to 5th grade, my 5th grade teacher looked at me and she said, if you want to get honors, you can get honors. And it was the first time I actually heard anyone who I felt genuinely just believed in me. And I can tell you that it took 4 marking periods, but by the 4th marking period, I was able to achieve honors. And that was the turning point where I was able to use education as a way of validating myself. I'm truly blessed that I was in foster care in Connecticut because Connecticut keeps voluntary services up to the age of 23. Unfortunately, not everyone has that opportunity. And so some folks age out at 18. And at 18, you have to take care of yourself.
And so the pro forma is a great way to make sure that you're tying it all together.
The foster care system had said, if you get through high school, we'll provide you a scholarship of $22,000 or a full ride at an in-state college. When I sit in class and I look around, I don't see a lot of other black males. 97% of us don't make it when we don't have that support and service.
A quick question. So how big is your market? Because I see rent is $15,000.
The transition from high school to college, consisted of a lot of anxiety for me. I knew I had come from a failing school system. When I got to college, I worked. I was so paranoid. I visited all my teachers, my professors, the first week of class and told them, look, this is where I come from. So I may need an extra little help off the bat, just letting you know. I knew that it was important to make sure that I got through my first semester.
My sister graduated high school and she was supposed to go to college. She got a full scholarship to go to John Jay, so she didn't really need to take out any loans to take care of any expenses because it was basically being taken care of. However, she did take out loans, and of course my dad, being the responsible parent that he is, co-signed to help her get those loans. He also co-signed to get her a car so she can drive to and from school. My sister basically squandered the money and spent it on who knows what. And one day she just ran away from home and said nothing. We had no idea what was going on. These things just destroyed my father's credit and put him into this insane debt that he's still paying off to this very day. At the time when it happened, I wasn't doing stellar in school, but that next year I picked it up. I went on a tear. It was a transformation like you have never seen before. And then when I got into high school, I made a promise to myself that I was going to graduate de valedictorian, and I ended up doing it. My high school didn't have any AP programs. What I had to do was go outside and find different college programs that gave students college credits while they were in high school. Really? Yeah, 22 in red. I listened to it. I heard of the Posse Foundation through one of my mentors at school. So what the Posse Foundation is a 4-year full tuition leadership scholarship. So mostly through the Posse Foundation and other scholarships like the Children's Defense Fund Beat the Odds scholarships. Those things really helped me to afford the cost of college and is the reason why I'm here now, to be honest with you.
What was the other one called? CCR5?
Officially, my major is bioinformatics, which is genomics. It's just biology and computer science. I have a second major, which is business and management. I have been able to acquire for this summer an internship at Cornell's BTI Institute, where I will be studying plant genomics. I hope to make the most of that opportunity. So I will have you in mind.
Are you going to train this summer?
Of course. I'm definitely planning on going directly into graduate school as soon as I graduate. So I'm gonna hit it full throttle. My goal is the same as it was when I was in the 7th grade when my sister left, and that's to make sure that my family never has to worry about a thing again as long as I'm alive. So that's priority number 1 for me.
I would agree that in some ways I'm the exception. I was lucky in a lot of ways. My parents were very supportive of my education from an early age. I was able to go to a boarding school for free, which all states don't have, and so I was lucky in that regard. I would say that was definitely the biggest turning point for me, going to that boarding school. It's a boarding school, but it's still public, and it's funded by the state of Illinois. The learning was much more about inquiry-based learning. There was a research program that students can do. The teachers were much more engaged with your material. Definitely saw a huge change once I started my sophomore year. One of the seniors in my boarding school had just got accepted into Stanford through a program called QuestBridge. And QuestBridge is a national organization that pairs low-income students with top-tier schools like Princeton, Stanford, Yale, etc. I was very surprised when I got an email in December saying, congratulations, you've been matched. And that meant that I got full financial aid and my mom and dad didn't have to pay anything. So it's a lot of tears and a huge relief for my parents, especially my mom. So I was very happy about that. I definitely wouldn't describe Princeton as like the place for the white male rich student anymore. As much as I give credit to Princeton for increasing its diversity in terms of numbers and making sure that students are supported, I think we can do more to have integration across communities. I think we can do more to support low-income students, for example, making sure that we're constantly increasing those numbers. I'm majoring in the Woodrow Wilson School of Public and International Affairs, and I'm focusing on education policy. On campus, I'm really involved with student government. I'm student body president now, which I really enjoy. And they want to get in touch with Nihar about the survey that he did. When I got to Princeton, I became equally passionate about education policy and the criminal justice system. And I led a civic engagement trip to Houston, Texas to look at the juvenile justice system and I'm a residential college advisor on campus, and I'm a hip hop dancer. And so that's a nice balance to the community service and student government activities that I do. And this summer I'll be interning at the White House in the Office of Cabinet Affairs. And then later down the road, I'm thinking about running for office.
I think it needs to be addressed at the root, and at the root I mean when Black men are in kindergarten, in first grade, second grade, because that's really where it starts.
Our goal shouldn't be just to get Black students and poor students to the same level as the white middle class student. It should really be to set a high uniform standard for everyone and then get every student to that standard or above.
The truth of the matter is that everyone deserves to have a chance to live the life they want to live, just point blank. And we have the tools to make that happen here.
You're not even doing it for yourself. This degree is not for you. This degree is to show other Black males in America, just period, that you can be committed to something and you can get a higher education.